So I've always had this thought in the back of my head that it's always kind of stuck with me with attorneys. It's this something that's like a pet peeve of mine. And it's where attorneys bring lawsuits that are obviously frivolous. You have these attorneys bring these suits in, and it's the man stubbed his toe because he was drunk in a bar, and he ends up suing the bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what I think should actually happen here is that attorney should be responsible for the bar's legal fees and pay the bar. If you bring a lawsuit like that, not only the guy that's doing the suing, but that guy's attorney, I think they should all have to pay. That's kind of my premise that I have. And it would stop these lawsuits.
Yeah, because it does happen because people are looking to hit the instant lottery.
Right.
You would think that the district attorney's office would be able to weed out what cases should be brought to the court and what shouldn't.
Right. Well, and I'm talking more of a civil instance, but yeah,
Right.
when you get into a criminal instance,
Right.
yeah, it seems
Right.
like you would. It seems like they could look at that and say, "We're not taking this." I mean,
Right.
obviously, this is absurd.
No, I agree with you. I think just like we were just watching a video about a DPS officer accused of sexually assaulting a woman that he pulled over, right?
Right.
And it's funny because we see these all the time. It seems like the last 30 or so days we've seen videos where people have accused officers of wrongdoing, yet the body camera footage shows a completely different story.
Well, it exonerates them, but I just saw something here just a few days ago where somebody was trying to introduce legislation that would actually hold people accountable for trying to portray an event that didn't happen. If a peace officer pulls you over and you spin a tale that doesn't match up with the video, and you try to make it sound like you were not in the wrong, well, that's essentially, you're abusing the county resources, city resources, by having people spend a bunch of time to try to look for a story that it's not there.
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
People and they're trying to make it to where these people get punished in some way, either through fines, but I actually think that they're trying to seek jail time.
So in the instance of this case, the officer pulls over. He's got a body cam running, and you can see from the video he's clearly being professional. Yet this attorney still brought the case. Now, he had to know this footage existed at some point before.
Well, see, and this is the part where I was like, I don't know when. So they released the video, but so you still have discovery, which I'm not an attorney.
Sure.
So if you're going on the premise that your client
is telling you the truth, I guess. Yeah, I guess
until this video comes out, because I can tell you in my own personal instance where, like, when I got pulled over for a suspicion of DWI.
Okay.
So they were running me through the process just like any other person until the judge saw the video of me being asked to do something. It was like one of their sobriety tests or whatever they call it.
Field sobriety test.
And as soon as that judge saw me do one of the tasks that one of the officers gave me, he's like, case dismissed. I know people who are stone fucking cold sober that cannot do what this guy did. There's no way this guy was drunk.
Right.
Which was my contention the entire time.
Well,
but again, video.
When you were doing the test,
me.
did you have a Miller Lite in your hand? I mean, I'm just curious.
Right. Well, in this case here, this lady was pulled over for the same thing, suspicion of DUI, conducted a field sobriety test, and she's saying he started making suggestive comments that she can go home in exchange for sexual favors. But what's funny is when you watch the video, he's telling her the whole time, "Hey, this is being recorded."
And that's
so he's forewarned her. So to Todd's point, what makes the attorney think he's going to bring it, other than maybe because it's a racial profiling,
right, or
it's a civil rights violation of some kind? And so what I think ends up happening is these attorneys gamble on the onside that this is going to get more traction and more news to the story, and hopefully pollutes a jury pool.
Just
too.
that, and they're looking to settle. At some point, they're looking
to settle.
They're looking for the government to pay out and just make it go away.
So I think that's what happens in these cases, because this is the third video. Well, we talked about this last week where the mayor in the city of Chicago wants to keep it where truth and facts don't enter the police report. So you're seeing this activism jumping into these. These are serious issues because this person potentially could have been drunk, could have caused an accident, could have killed people. She knows that. She gets a ticket for it, and what she do? She jumps to the race card. Not only to the race card, she jumps also that he sexually made innuendos towards me when clearly he didn't.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And the fact that the body cam now is doing what it's preventing from happening what would have happened if you didn't have that video.
Sure.
It shows that the person not only claimed to be claimed to be innocent, but it was proven that person was innocent.
Yeah, I think body cams have helped officers tremendously.
Absolutely.
I would want to put one on. If I'm a professional, I want one on.
I wouldn't make a stop without it. Here's her story. She basically says she declines his advances. He takes her to the cruiser and gropes her and touches her inappropriately in places. And there's a 2-hour dash cam of it that showed nothing, and there's also body cam that shows none of this.
Right.
So it's just, I think it's just a roll of the dice. I really do. I think they play on the night.
Looking for a settlement.
Looking for a settlement, yeah.
There is some repercussion to this, though. If the district attorney really wanted to get down here, he could get down on this lawyer. He could. You can actually be disbarred for this kind of stuff. I know that for a fact. Todd's not a lawyer, but I know. But for bringing frivolous lawsuits and causing potential irreparable harm to this officer, if his what am I trying to say? His reputation,
right?
Okay.
They can disbar you for that. That's true.
Sure, you can do that for sure. Yeah.
So I think if this attorney had a history of bringing these kinds of suits, I think you can end up in that boat. So there is something that's out there. There's a tool that can be used, but I'm not necessarily sure that it ever gets used.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you call. Okay, so attorneys who try to prosecute or bring these type of cases to trial. I mean, naturally, you have the old ambulance chaser term. I don't quite know what they call these guys, but you'll have these people who think that it's a slam dunk to bring this kind of a case to a government agency, thinking that they're going to just lay over and just pay you whatever damages you ask.
So you ever see these commercials about the Texas Hammer?
Yes,
okay,
that guy.
Steve Lee or whatever his name is.
Groove up on these guys.
So what's really funny is a lot of these guys are not licensed attorneys in the states that they advertise in. So what they do basically is they're a collection point. Mm-hmm. So they put out a commercial. They're the face of the business. All these claims come in.
And they hand it off to another attorney.
It's like feeding a leads funnel for a sales rep.
Right.
How many leads can I get in this funnel, and how many of them? So you got to think a percentage of them are going to convert to some kind of law case.
What I want to know is, what did William Shatner do, and what did they get him out of,
right,
so that he would do commercials for them?
Yeah, no doubt, for sure.
What body was buried that they found that they got William Shatner to do the commercial?
Didn't his wife drown in a pool or something like that?
Oh man,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she did. I think there was some kind of wrongful death that he was involved in. I think she was in a swimming pool.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but it's funny though, because we see more and more of this, and what I think is even more egregious is the fact that everybody thinks that they're an armed or a curbside lawyer now.
Yeah,
obviously
I do.
You pull everybody over though, and they all want to talk shit to the cop.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they don't realize is a lot of times, at least from a lot of videos I've seen, the cops are really they're more than likely gonna let them off.
Yeah.
If they just shut their mouth, take their ticket, go to court. I've learned a long time ago, because I've already shared with everybody my story with internal affairs on an officer that wouldn't take a police report. I know that I can get more done through internal affairs than I can by arguing with an officer on the side of the road.
Well, yeah, you do have the inverse of that, where you have the citizen that shows up with his cam and he's going to film the police officer, and the officer's just going, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And then the guy starts to freak out. "Oh my God, you're violating my first. I'm the press. I'm my First Amendment rights."
There was one yesterday where a kid was trying to enter a college, and they asked for his driver's license, I think is how they put it, and he gave him his Indian reservation ID. And they took his ID and they went inside the building. So the kid gets out of the car and goes and gets the ID. And the security guard's saying, "We're calling the police." And he goes, "Well, that's a valid ID. I mean, it's there's the governing body on it. Give me my ID." So what you get are a lot of people that bait
Yes.
Very, and honestly, and sorry if you're a security guard, but sometimes they're not the sharpest pencil in the box.
Yeah.
And they get a little bit of power and it goes to their head.
More like a crayon.
Yeah, and what ends up happening is you will not go against what I say. You're going to do how I say it, and just because I'm keeping you out. And so I think that you see a lot of this now. People know that it gets on YouTube. They know it gets on alt news channels.
Sure.
And they know that people follow it for what they want out of it.